Good morning. This is Brian Massard with Reminisce Angus, and there's my fuzzy dog, my little helper, Nina, today. We wanted to talk to you today about the difference between a narrative and evidence-based science. And there's three big things going on in the beef industry and have been forever. So the narrative is saturated fat in animal meats causes heart disease and everything else we've talked about, diabetes, cancer, autoimmune diseases. The evidence-based science says not one time, there's not one test, it has never been proven to have correlation, causation with any of these diseases. But the narrative comes out first. So when you hear false science come out, whenever there's a narrative, somebody comes out with a negative claim, go find the peer-reviewed documents and make sure they support that. Otherwise, it's just an agenda-driven narrative. And that's what we've been facing in the beef industry for so long. And it's our own fault because we just assume everybody's honest and going to be putting the best foot forward and they know it's healthy for them. And we have failed ourselves as an industry for 60 years to step up and defeat the narrative. And I don't care how big the narrative is, at some point, if it's going to drive you out of business, step up and defeat it, or you're going to be defeated. And I have watched my industry dissolve around me for 40 years, and that's why I'm so adamant about jumping up, getting some evidence-based science. There's hundreds of tests that prove beef is healthy for you. So that's one deal. Second one is, the narrative is cattle are the leading cause of global emissions. Methane, man-made climate change. The narrative is cattle are out there leading the way. The evidence-based science is cattle are responsible, beef production are responsible for about 2% of emissions. Now, even within that, the emissions only start when you take the cow from the ranch, process it, take it to the grocery store, the distributor, the people come to the store and buy it, they drive home, the making of their cars, everything is involved. Everything. When you add up everything, the evidence-based science says, which I agree with, is about 2%. The narrative is that 2% happens out on the ranch. Just by a cow standing out there breathing and living, they're contributing to global warming. That's what they want the public to believe. That's why they have to get rid of cows. That's why Bill Gates has to come up with alternative protein. That's why Jeff Bezos is so heavily involved in alternative protein. And oh, by the way, he owns a paper and he prints that narrative out there that naturally occurring cow is part of global warming, standing out in the field. That's false. It's a lie. It's a narrative. These guys are all heavily invested in alternative foods. Now, if you want to know if this is going to be successful or not, the major players, the major investors are pulling out of alternative-based proteins other than beef because people don't want to eat it. And there's enough social media out there, in truth, people like me, huge people, not like me, but huge people out there that are actually getting the word out. People are waking up. Doctors are waking up, coming out of the closet finally after 50 years, not afraid to say something. Dietitians, nutritionists are all talking about how healthy it is. So now the investors are coming out. People aren't eating it. So the government is stepping in to replace investors in alternative protein. The USDA, who was supposed to be enhancing rural America, farms and ranches, are now heavily invested in cellular grown protein. That's men and women growing your food in a laboratory. There's no natural cycle in a laboratory. That's 100% carbon output. So they think you're so dumb that you're not going to understand or buy that narrative. And so I just wanted to share that information with you. Share what Reminisce Angus does beyond the sale. We are constantly watching out for our customers, for not only our customers, but Angus breeders, but everybody raising cattle in the United States and the health of people. So start living a healthy life today. Give up your high diets of carbs and sugar. Trade in your pills for beef and get healthy. Take care of yourself. Stop buying the narratives online. Go to remangusbeef.com and start living a great life. With that, bon appetit.